Hello, everybody. Happy New Year and welcome to the Boss Rush Podcast, a great place to play games and be better. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Deerigan. Alongside me, as always, is the PC Muscle Race himself, LeRon Dawkins.
Hey, everyone. What's poppin'?
Hi, LeRon. Hi, LeRon.
Hey, Corey.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you, my dude.
How are you?
Work. Oh, my God.
Like the Rihanna song.
Yes, yeah. It's it's nuts. It's nuts and I should not hate myself at this early of a junction in the year. I should not hate myself.
Well, LeRon, I love you.
Oh, thank you. I love you too, man. I do. I love you too.
I know.
I love all of y'all. You know,
those special Christmas pics you sent me.
Yeah, I didn't wear the paper bag over my head this time.
I know. It was somewhere else. Also here is the mad pharmacist herself, Stephanie Klimov.
Hey, yo.
Hi, Stephanie.
Hey.
Happy New Year.
Happy freaking New Year.
It's great. Happy New Year.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Speaking of fantastic, PK Power Pack Klein.
Happy New Year.
Yay.
Can we go back to the 90s? I feel like those were the better years.
No, because the internet sucked and we wouldn't know each other. Maybe that is a positive for you. I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
It would take a lot of problems away if the internet didn't exist right now.
Oh, come on. It's not that bad. It's great out there in the world today. Anyways, we are this is actually our last recording of 2024. This is just the first episode that releases in 2025. So yeah. Sorry to break the magic, everybody.
We lied to you.
Some weird timey-wimey shit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But we have a great show for you lined up tonight. We are going to go over our Metacritic Draft scores.
Ooh. All right.
And do our first 3 rounds of Metacritic Draft picks. And very excited. I'm very, very excited. I am very sad about my scores because I scored way lower than I anticipated. I thought I was actually doing okay. I thought I was gonna, not beat Pat.
You didn't score the worst, so you need to shut your face.
Second worst. So
anyway, don't spoil it, guys.
Yeah, I won. I am the winner. Speaking of winners, you all are out there are winners, and you can also keep winning by supporting us on Patreon. Patreon.com/Boss Rush Network, where you can get access to our content early or exclusively through Expansion Pass, our newly revamped content offering. We have exclusives, we have early access, we have all kinds of cool things, including the return of After Dark, right, LeRon?
Yes.
Coming soon. Very excited.
Coming soon. New format.
Woo.
New format. Still freaky.
Yeah, it's freaky, all right. You might want to call it a quickie, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing about the format. Like it's gonna be smaller episodes, not meaning that it's gonna be like snippets, but it's gonna be smaller. It's gonna be more bite-sized,
Yeah.
Without cutting the real content.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You'll still get 1 month early to book club, right, Pat? Lots of cool games lined up, I see.
Yep. We got a winner as of today, so
yeah. What's the winner?
The winner is Ghost of Tsushima by 2 votes.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Oh, good stuff. I'm still trying to finish my first playthrough of the game. So maybe when are you planning on recording?
That one's going to be recorded in February.
somewhere.
End of February.
Oh, I have time. I have
You
time.
do.
You have
As
time,
long-
LeRon.
As long as
The
it's recorded,
opportunity has presented
as
itself.
long as it's recorded before February 28th, we fine. We're fine.
I will not record it on February 29th. I'll say that.
Nothing's been recorded on the 29th of February.
I see what you did there. Oh,
Because that's Monster Hunter Day.
yikes. If you can't support us on Patreon, no big deal. You can head over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/BossRushNetwork. You can subscribe on podcast services, leave us a review, a rating, and all kinds of fun things over there as well, including the Bossies. The Bossies are coming up January 16th, pre-show at 8:30 Eastern.
Get
Main
your
show at
ball
9.
gown out, iron your suit,
Yep.
your tux.
I busted out my
Them
best black
lucky
t-shirt.
draws.
Mm-hmm.
I busted out
Get your
my
hair did
Yep, I did. I did that too. Got my hair did too.
underneath that hat.
Get
Oh,
a nice
yeah.
little shine on the baldness up here.
Mm-hmm. Yep, polished.
Make sure it reflects the light from the
Yep, it's real nice.
boom
It's real
sticks.
nice. It's real nice. You're gonna be jealous, Pat. I'm telling you. I busted out my best black t-shirt and my nice jeans that you won't see. Anyways, it's gonna be so much fun. A lot of guests, a lot of fun contributors,
It's gonna be epic.
a lot of
We're gonna have so much fun.
industry friends. So check it out. I'm sure you've seen it plastered all over socials. So save the date. Hashtag the 2024 Bossies. All right. I guess it's time to get into this Metacritic Draft finale. So, LeRon, we're gonna
What?
get your we're gonna get your victory out of the way here first. Okay.
My victory?
LeRon, don't be salty
Well,
because that means you get to pick first for this upcoming year.
I know that's the perk about being the winning loser.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I like that winning loser. I'm gonna say that from now on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hi,
So,
child.
I mean,
You're a
it won't
winning
help
loser.
you, but you can pick first.
yeah, LeRon, why don't you go over your scores here? Which games you picked, your scores, and then your
My
nice
walk
little
of
score.
my
right
walk
there.
of shame is Metal
Yeah.
Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it was the only game on the list that wound up not showing. This is the only game I picked.
They
on the Metacritic
promised.
Draft that wound up not releasing.
They promised it would be
You
out.
had one more.
They promised it. They promised it would. They promised it would be out. Like I was starting to get a little concerned in October, and then November came around. And remember, guys, like when we were doing our "Hey, Happy Thanksgiving," like group text and stuff. I was like, "Hey, like, is there any news from Konami about Metal Gear Solid?" And like, no, like maybe the Game Awards will have something. And
Nope.
nope.
Mm.
I guess the Game Awards wouldn't have anything because Keeley would not have wanted to piss off his buddy, Kojima.
You're right. I didn't even think about that.
Like as like Statler and Waldorf said,
I know.
does Kojima know he's friends
He's his
with
friend,
Jackie?
yeah.
I didn't even think about that connection.
Oh,
And the
man,
look on
yeah.
Kojima's face, I'm not even quite sure if he understood at the moment, but it was just funny.
Yeah. And I don't think he understood quite that well either. But by the way, shout out to the Game Awards.
I've heard that Kojima actually understands English fluently. He just doesn't speak it well.
Yeah.
I think he understood.
Quick shout out to Jeff Keighley and the Game Awards. Like, I did not think I was going to be entertained by an episode of the Game Awards as I was this year. And in all 10 years that I've been watching the show, this is the best one that I have ever witnessed, and that is saying a lot because I've said every year beforehand. I was like, man, this is a shit show.
No, it was a good show.
This was good. This was a good show. It's almost like he learned from every single mistake he made in the last 2 years worth of game award shows. He even let the Muppets take pot shots at him for some of the questionable decisions that were made for this year's show, like DLC being a nominee for Game of the Year.
I think that was one means of addressing, like you said, those elephants in the room in a least awkward way possible. to be able to poke fun at oneself and acknowledging things in that manner, I think can
Definitely.
really lighten the mood.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's enough about that. We can save that for a bonus episode of the Boss Rush podcast. Oh, even though I think at this point, like it's way too far out in the past now, like we should just do and we should do, if we're doing any individual like YouTube vlogs and stuff like that, that's on us, because then we're not tarnishing Boss Rush's name by being so late on this one, It's just an idle thought. Like definitely I will be doing a lot more production next year, especially on the Boss Rush side. But yeah, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. That was a big fat goose egg because we talked about this in the pre-show. Like developers and publishers need to have more transparency with their audiences and stuff like that. I guarantee you there are people out there that were wanting to see what Metal Gear Solid Delta looked like on the PS5 Pro. I guarantee you. All right. So some of my other greatest hits. Okay, so games that I picked in the draft this year that scored below an 80 was Rise of the Ronin with a 76 on Metacritic. Mario and Luigi Brothers Ship really hurt my heart, like because like it was critiquing really well at release. Like it was like an 83, 84, and it ended the year at an 77. Like what the hell,
Sorry, man.
Flight Simulator 2020.
Though, can I say something about Mario and Luigi though?
Hmm?
To be fair, those games have never really scored extremely high.
You're right, but I feel like the gaming critic community, because our Metacritic Draft scores are based off the critic score, not the user score.
Yeah.
I don't think the gaming critic community like appreciates like when Nintendo actually goes and refreshes a formula for something they've been doing, because like this is a dyed-in-the-wool Super Mario RPG game, if not being Super Mario RPG, and I don't know, like it's I feel like it's always been niche, and usually niche games get reviewed really well, but for some strange reason, like for Mario and Luigi that wound up ending the year at its 77 in Metacritic, like who hurt y'all? Who hurt y'all? Because like this was, because like as soon as it was announced at the direct, man, everybody started foaming at the mouth. Like I feel like the only thing that people foamed at the mouth for even harder was the next outing from Samus Aran. That was also in that direct. But I digress. It was a crime against nature that Microsoft Flight Simulator scored a 78, because I mean it's a technical opus, and I think that might be the problem, because
they moved all that stuff, because the last one was like the file size was so big, it was like 130 gigs, because they put most of that on your console.
Yeah.
Well, this one moved all that to the cloud, so like the download size was only like 20 gigs. But then you had to sit in these cloud queues to like play the game.
Yeah.
And people were like really pissed about that.
Yeah. Let me see. What else? So yeah, Flight Sim, Flintlock Siege of Dawn. That was actually me making a grab, because like a lot of games I was really wanting to like put on my draft were getting snatched up. I mean, I swear, like the Boss Rush podcast Metacritic Draft. If you think fantasy football and like fantasy NBA is harrowing, like sit down with us and try to snap up some games for your squad. You'll see what happens real fast,
Yeah.
But then I had an audible as well, because we instituted a new rule last year where if a game is not performing the way you want to perform, or if a game is definitely getting delayed, which I can't remember what got like. I think I wound up with a game that just wound up on an indefinite list. Like they were like, we pushed it back, but we don't know when it's coming out.
I mean, if you look at all the lists, it's still under the 2024 release calendar.
Yeah. So
New Year's Eve shadow drop.
So I called an audible for Live Pop Chainsaw Repop, which actually I'm not gonna blame you for this, Pat, because like you were like, well, grab that one. Honestly, like a PS3, like most remakes are in a weird place right now. Like Well, Repop technically was a remake and not so much remaster. Whereas Shadows of the Dam was a remaster and not so much a remake and stuff like that. So like there's still this murky area, and when you have like Square, like making true blue remakes of like games that we cut our DNA on and stuff like that, it makes games like Lollipop Chainsaw Repop like really hard to like stand out and stuff like that. So yeah, that scored a 68 on my Metacritic draft. I only had one game that scored a 90, and that was God of War Ragnarok PC. And apparently, my colleagues here at Boss Rush Network are going to like hamstring me on what I can vote for this year. Pat, do you want to mention what? Do you want to mention
Yeah,
the idea that
I
went around?
consider that low hanging fruit because we already got uh, a score from a year prior. So it's like this is the most safest bet I can get by grabbing something that already was scored, and chances are it's not going to get any lower than it was.
How would you feel if I said? How'd you feel if I said no remakes can be voted on?
That it would be something different because that would literally be a new game. That is a remake.
I'm going to fight. But anyway. So yeah, and some of the ones that I chose that did really well. Dragon Quest HD 2D remake scored an 84. Dragon's Dogma 2 scored an 86. The funny thing about it, I picked Dragon's Dogma 2 and I had no intention of ever playing the game. I didn't like Dragon's Dogma 1, so there was no chance of me like playing Dragon's Dogma 2. And then Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, which I know Pat was really mad about me yanking that one. That scored an 89. So I wound up with a whopping 718 points overall for the Metacritic draft. I didn't even break 800, and 800 is you're doing good.
Nice. Well, LeRon, there's always next year, right? That's what they.
Yeah.
That's
As long as 2025 is not pushing on these stinkers, we'll be fine.
Look, as a Browns fan, I've learned to say that phrase for the last 30 years. Oh man. Well,
so yeah, there it is. There it is. Better luck next time. Womp womp.
Yeah. Well, since I came in third place, I will go next. Destiny 2: The Final Shape was my highest rated game at a 92. Well-deserved 92. I think this was a great finale to this saga that they told for 10 years. And, I think Destiny is definitely in a place where they're still trying to figure stuff out. And obviously, I don't need to talk about the Bungie struggles because we've talked enough about it, but, in terms of layoffs and stuff. But, I think what they've shown about what's next and the potential for what's next is super exciting. And I think The Final Shape was probably Bungie's best product maybe ever. So that's my opinion. Persona 3 Reload, I didn't play it. I stole it strictly to make Pat angry. So that was my that was my steal.
I wanted it. I would have picked it right away with my first pick, but
I know.
I got something I wanted.
I know. I picked it second because I knew, or I right second. Yeah, I picked it second because I knew that Persona and Metaphor were riding the hype train of Persona 5, and people were having high expectations, and people love that series. So, Helldivers 2 was a nice surprise at an 82. I was like, I think it's going to be no less than good, like a mid 70s, but to get an 82 out of it, pretty happy with that. Senua Saga Hellblade 2 at an 80. I kind of thought it was going to score a little bit higher, and initially it did, but the final kind of Metacritic score kind of, once the larger outlets started putting out their reviews, and I don't think the Washington Post scored it very high, and IGN kind of scored it mid, and still leveled out at an 80, so I'm okay with that. Star Wars Outlaws at a 75. It's a Ubisoft game, so it'll be better next year. Echoes of Wisdom at an 86. No surprise there. Lego Horizon Adventures at a 70. Heard a lot of weird things about this game. Everybody said it's not like a traditional Lego game, but it's also not the traditional Lego developer. So a lot
It's
of weird.
they took a lot of good stuff from the Lego games and just cut it out.
Yeah.
It's not that fun to explore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is what it is, I guess. Reynada's was the big disappointment for me. I thought this was going to be. That trailer looked so cool. It looked like a mix between like Astral Chain and some like Tales elements, and I was actually kind of really excited to play this game, and then nope, 57. That was my clunker. So Call of Duty Black Ops 6, 83. It's a pretty good. I thought it would be higher actually, but it's not. It did not. So I think the multiplayer stuff held it back actually. And then Indiana Jones and the Great Circle at an 86. That could have gone either way, everybody.
That is true.
Mhm.
But I think a lot of people are pleasantly surprised with that game, and people seem to love it. And I'm excited to play more of it. I played through the opening kind of sequence. That's kind of all the further I've gotten so far as of this recording. But
I really have not had a chance to break into it. Like when we recorded last week's episode, I was telling Pat and Stephanie that I was definitely gonna have some of it played before we got to this week's recording, and stuff with real life work really got in the way. Like
Yeah.
I haven't really played. I haven't even had the energy to play a lot of Monster Hunter. I've probably played one quest a night, and then I was like, I can't do it. I'm exhausted.
That's fair. It's an immersive sim though, which is kind of not the game I wanted it to be personally, but again, it is what it is.
It's got a lot of Dishonored feel to it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of Dishonored.
Yeah.
With how like when you actually get to your first major open area,
Mm-hmm.
it's you got your safe zones, you got your not safe zones, you got NPCs everywhere. You do stupid things, you alert the bad NPCs, and it's and everything is basically you can grab.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure it's not as deep as Dishonored to try to get people in because Indiana Jones is a quote unquote popular franchise, right? So I'm sure it's not as deep as Dishonored, but we'll keep going. But that's my Metacritic draft. We can talk about Indiana Jones next week when we get to our top 10 games of the year for our personal lists. Stephanie, you
Yes.
pulled ahead of me by 9 points.
Somehow. Well, here's how. um So yeah, I'm the runner up. So let's take a look. My lower, I'm now looking back at things, I'm a little surprised. Well, we that Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl was actually my lowest scoring. It was even lower than Princess Peach Showtime, which is kind of funny. Granted, yeah, I heard Stalker 2 came out and it was just kind of a mess. I haven't played it, but that is a 73. Princess Peach Showtime's 74, and Mario versus Donkey Kong was a 76. Out of those bangers,
That surprised me actually. The Mario
right?
vs Donkey Kong one. I thought it would have at least scored like I would have thought it at least scored a safe 80.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another one that surprised me a little bit was Visions of Mana, that it only got a 75. That one's a bit of a head scratcher for me. But Indie Game Pacific Tribe got a 79. Sonic versus Shadow Generations, Kunitsugami Path of Goddess scored 80s. And then what really kind of helped me push across the edge, so to speak, across 800s was the Silent Hill 2 remake did a fantastic 86. And my best scoring game was Tekken 8, which is a fantastic game, by the way, at a 90. Oh, wait,
Yeah,
no, I
you
lied.
had a better one.
I know. I was like, wait a minute. How could I forget the game of the year? Game of the year, Astrobot, 94. 90 freaking 4. Thank you, Astrobot. Love you. Great game.
Can I say something about Astrobot winning Game of the Year at the Game Awards real quick?
Besides
Sure.
it being a total upset.
No, it's a positive. I think it's.
Mhm.
I
Oh
think
no. Oh, I am not bashing
yeah,
Astrobot at all. I'm not.
yeah. I just think, man, I just think it's such a great story for Team Asobi and Astrobot to win Game of the Year, just because of all the things that happened with Studio Japan and that team kind of coming out of there, and Astrobot kind of being pawned off to like the pack-in games or the VR games or like the side things, and now they make this incredible platformer, and they celebrating PlayStation's history without shoving it in your face during the anniversary of PlayStation, right? It's a really great cap to an awesome story for that game and that studio. Just hats off to Team Asobi. They did.
Oh, absolutely. That
Mhm.
great touch. I think what LeRon means by an upstate, because it had the Elden Ring DLC and a couple other games that we just wouldn't
Black
think.
Myth,
Yeah,
Black
Black
Myth,
Myth.
Metaphor, Final Fantasy. Like it was against some behemoths,
Yes, yeah.
if yeah. And the fact that a game like that, and I've been listening to a lot of discourse online lately and stuff like that, and people I think people are missing the point of the reason why Astrobot won Game of the, like if even we just take the Game Awards out of it, like like people miss the point of why a game like Astrobot would win Game of the Year. The reason why I won Game of the Year is because it's not the same stuff that keeps winning Game of the Year,
Yep.
and it actually was able to shine. Because I mean,
Yep.
like that, they could have. We all walked in this like Stephanie, you, Pat, and I. We all walked in it like, man, like we don't think Shadow of the Erd Tree is gonna win, but we would not be surprised if it won. We said that, because we were all live chatting with each other, during the show. Um, and I don't know, as Astrobot started getting more awards, Astrobot basically is like the top king. Like it got the most awards that night.
Yeah,
And
it won 4, I believe.
it won 4, and I'm trying to think who won 3, because someone
Metaphor
Balatro won a lot too,
won
I
3
think,
or
right?
4.
yeah.
Balatro won
I think
2.
Balatro won 3. I think Balatro won 3.
No, they won Best Indie and Best Indie debut.
Also, it was 2, or I could have sworn Bellastro got at least one more, but we don't want to argue about that stuff. Ultimately, just to say that congratulations, Team Asobi, congratulations, Sony Interactive Entertainment, and stuff like that. Like like honestly, stuff like this is why you can't count this. You can't count out Sony and PlayStation. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because I mean, like they're ultimately releasing the games that everyone loves, and are also releasing the games that is taking everybody by surprise and stuff like that. So yeah,
Yeah,
wonderful.
I think it's a win for the industry because it showed that you don't need massive budgets and teams of thousands of people
Yeah.
to push out a Game of the Year winning game. I
Uh-huh.
think what was it? It was like a $30 million budget and a team of 60.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's going to be the future of what games are going to be.
Yeah, that'd
We
be
don't
great.
need. I'm just gonna go ahead and say right now, we don't need like these crazy blockbuster, like bank breaking budget games. We just need stuff that's fun and scratches any itch, whether it's like, does it have a good story itch, does it have good action and playability itch, is it replayable. I think once developers and publishers figure that out, like like the budgets for games will go down, but the quality will come up.
Right. I mean, hey, every once in a long while, if they want to release one kind of big shebang, that's fine. But I just don't feel like that should be the norm. That should be the
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
exception.
yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah, what
bring
I
back
mean,
mascot platformers. Sorry.
I mean, to your point, Stephanie, if they want to release one game like that, like massive game, let's take. I think Spider-Man is a perfect example, right? Where you release this massive game, and then you release smaller games that are built off of that game, like Miles Morales, or the rumored Venom game that's coming out this year, or the that kind of thing, right? You
Mhm.
use the assets you have to build more games, and Uncharted Lost Legacy is the perfect example too of like telling more stories within that world and with those assets and those, the things you've already built, and spent all this money on, you might as well get more out of it, right?
And also, that would solve their chicken and egg problem, because like games take these crazy ass budgets take years to develop.
Yeah.
Like I mean, Concord, they still can't figure out the Concord takes 8 years to develop, or it take 10 years to develop. And look how that happened. So like that, like for
I think
for
that's
every
a little.
Go ahead, guys. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I think that's a little like 8 years to develop, but that's like we wrote this idea on a napkin at dinner 8 years, not
8 years
like,
ago.
Not like, oh, we started, putting pixels on the screen 8
That's
years
the other
ago.
thing. Yeah, like I'm glad you said that, because that's the other thing about like why is our industry like just overinflated with shit like this, And when I say shit like this, I mean, like if it was like a post-it note on the cork board for like 2 years before like it was greenlit, that's not development.
No. Well, it's
You
it's a headline. It's a headline. It's a click thing, right? Like it's
It's
like
let
it's
your
like the
stockholders know that there's something else coming so that they invest.
Yeah, it's like the Verge article that came out today that said Xbox Insider claims PlayStation exclusives are coming to Xbox next year. And then you click when you read the article, it's like, oh, well, yeah, Final Fantasy 16 is rumored to come to Xbox next year, and Genshin Impact is coming to Xbox next year. And, all these PlayStation exclusives, quote unquote, are coming to Xbox next year.
this goes
Black
this
Myth
goes back to
Wukong.
my integrity in journalism topic a while back, because I mean this is okay, for lack of a better word, this is fake news.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to.
We just steamrolled your whole kudos to Astrobot.
I'm so sorry.
That's all right. I mean, that's kind of how I wanted to end my segment. That was my highest scoring game, followed by Tekken and Silent Hill 2 remake, all of which are very good. I've actually played those 3 games. So
which by the way, like I'm having absolute fun like controlling Clive Rossville, aka Ben Starr, in Tekken. I'm having fun.
I have yet to try that out. I cannot wait.
And you know what? I thought Clive was sexy in Final Fantasy 16. He's fucking sexy in Tekken.
Yummy, yummy.
In that voice, oh man.
Well, speaking
Thanks,
of
Ben
yummy,
Starr.
Jeez. Pat, you're yummy. Give me some games.
Well, I won the Metacritic with a score of 843 points.
Oh my god, really? Really? You just had to say it like that? Really?
I just had to say it, and just to rub some more salt in the wound, when games like Black Myth Wukong are in my bottom 5 of my scores, I think I picked some pretty damn good games.
Heck yeah.
The worst one I picked was Life is Strange Double Exposure at 73, and then the next worst I got was a 79. So I think I picked good.
Here's my question about that. Why do you think a game that's usually relatively safe, like Life is Strange, why do you think Double Exposure got 73? Like, it's really odd to see a Life is Strange, not hitting like a like a pick from Metacritic. You know what I mean? Because Metacritic has those. Like you can scroll through games and it'll be like critics pick, and almost every time a Life is Strange, with the exception of like the really obscure ones come out, like when main ones are out, like it's always on the critics pick.
I don't think this is probably one of the worst Life is Strange games, to be perfectly honest. And this is mentioned in our book club, that it'd be free now for everyone when you listen to this. It's the game kind of turned its direction. It felt more like they were trying to focus on the powers aspect than the personal aspect in this one. A lot of the side characters felt just like that. They were they, like their stories didn't really matter too much. And, it was a good game, but it wasn't
Great.
in terms of story, it was probably one of the weakest, and that's what you get a Life is Strange game for, is for that personal journey.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But yeah, my big winner was Metaphor Refantasio at 93, followed by Final Fantasy Rebirth at 92.
what?
And
Whoa. Who didn't
th-
see that?
and then also Unicorn Overlord at a 89. So
Nice.
it was a good year for RPGs.
Mm-hmm.
Unicorn
Absolutely.
Overlord. It's a good one.
Mm-hmm. A nice new IP.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, two of my games were new IPs. Two of my top three were new IPs. So good for them.
Good for them. Well, we did it. Pat, congratulations. Your trophy is
Congratulations.
in the mail.
Woo.
I think we should have a
Really?
trophy that goes around to each of us when we
Yeah.
win.
Yeah, that would be cool.
It'd be like WWE, the hardcore belt, like
Yeah,
like
yeah.
just pass it around.
I'll
Absolutely.
figure that out at some point in the near future.
Just make sure the trophy's not made out of chocolate, or else no one's getting it back.
No, it'll be. I think it'll just be a giant boss key. I'm gonna try to figure that out.
Oh, heck yeah.
So with a plaque, and it'll be like the Stanley Cup, where like every winner just gets engraved on it, and
Oh
you
my
know,
goodness.
every year just the new winner until everyone quits or dies or.
Okay, let's move on. Now we're going down a rabbit hole.
Good job, Pat. Congratulations on your picks, but that means you get to pick last in
You know what? And I'm going to prove that picking last doesn't mean that you're an instant loser in this game.
Oh yeah. Okay. We'll see how that works out for you.
Speaking of instant loser, LeRon, you get to pick first. We're gonna do three. We're gonna we're gonna do 3 rounds tonight, and then sometime in February, I think, is when we'll probably do another round of this. Just because we don't want to, take up too much of your time trying to, look over this list, and
Or
we're
basically
trying to
whenever
really.
Nintendo announces the next console and a bunch of games.
Oh, geez, yeah, that too. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh, you had to put that in my mind. Now I'm just. Anyways, LeRon.
All right. Well,
Wait, do we want to have the PC port discussion real quick? I don't want to have it because I don't care either way. This
I'm neutral on it. I'd say I'm okay with it only because we've done it already, but I concede to everyone else's judgment.
Well, my stance, I consider as low hanging fruit. So if you want to win by low hanging fruit, then
look, that's not. You're trying to appeal to my vanity. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. I will say this though, because like you doing like us instilling that rule just nerfed a third of my picks. But you know what? In the spirit of fairness, I will let that rule stand. You know what? Bring it on. Bring it on.
Well, that's
my very first pick is a no brainer. It's Monster Hunter Wilds.
what?
Okay.
No way.
wow.
Monster
Who saw
Hunter
that
Wilds.
one coming?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, should have saw that one coming.
Yeah. Well, we saw it from a mile away. Man, there are a lot of games coming out this year. My heart wants to pick. Man, my heart really wants to pick Assassin's Creed Shadows, but I know the industry is going to rip it apart because of its context. So, dang, let's see here. January. I know there's a game coming out that I knew I was going to pick, and then I did pick it because I forgot. So, Kingdom Come Deliverance will probably be a
January?
pretty good pick. What?
For January, you said?
I'm just looking at the list.
Okay.
I'm literally talking to myself now, Pat.
Fair enough.
I'm going to do this thing. You know what? I'm going to pick.
He's stalling.
Ooh, gosh. I'm gonna pick.
Shit or get off the pot.
I'm gonna pick Assassin's Creed Shadows.
All right.
Jeez, Stephanie's pressuring me.
Oh, she was pushing that.
Does that mean it's my turn?
Yes.
My first
Shit or
pick?
get off the pot, Stephanie.
Exactly. And my shit is gonna be Elden Ring Night Rain.
Oh man. Dang it. I knew that was Dang it.
Rain.
Well, Pat, it's your turn.
Ghost of Yotai.
Dang it. Dang it, you're right.
All right. LeRon, back at you.
Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah.
Dang, I'm gonna lose.
Beyond, right? Like Beyond.
Beyond, yeah, Metroid Prime. I didn't realize the subtitle for that game was called Beyond. Like that's
right? Yeah.
kind of interesting.
Metroid and Beyond.
I wonder if they're gonna port those other two, the at least 2 and 3.
They better.
I mean, Hunters should probably be ported as well, but
yeah, Hunters. Yeah, Hunter, I'll give Hunters that because like it is part of canon.
Yeah, and the villain of the game is like the villain of Hunters too. Probably should do that. But anyways, I think I'm going to pick with my second pick is going to go to
dot.
It's gonna go to.
He's procrastinating again.
You're right, I am, because there's so many. You know what? I'm gonna pick.
Oh my gosh, you can choose that.
I'm going to pick Doom: The Dark Ages.
Ooh, okay.
Okay.
Is somebody keeping
Did
notes?
they confirm that what's his face is doing the soundtrack? Mick Gordon.
Whoever did the last one is not doing this one.
Okay, so no Mick Gordon.
Industry, there, whatever happened between. I don't really know what happened to them, but yeah.
You know, sometimes money just wipes that away.
Sure, yeah. All my problems go away with money.
Speaking of money, my second pick is going to be Sid Meier's Civilization 7.
That's a good one.
That's a solid
that is a good one.
Solid. All
right.
Pat?
Well, then I am going to stick with my G's and go with Grand Theft Auto 6.
Woohoo!
Dang. That's the problem. Everybody's waiting for that game to be announced so they can move out of the way.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. All right, this is my final pick for the night.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm swinging for the fences on this one. Death Stranding 2 on the beach.
I was thinking about that. Yeah.
Is that the subtitle for that game?
Yeah.
It's on on the beach. It's like kind of random, but okay.
That's a choice.
Yeah.
I think the boss battle with the guitar monsters is going to be freaking nuts.
Oh, man. Speaking
that
of
was pretty sweet.
What was the word you used, LeRon?
Nuts?
Reach. You're reaching for this one.
You're reaching for nuts.
The low-hanging fruit.
Low-hanging nuts.
Yep, low-hanging nut fruits.
The droopy nuts.
Yeah.
The ones that stick on your leg.
I am banking on Judas coming out in 2025.
Wow. Okay.
I think it's a BioShock game. I think it's a secret BioShock game.
Okay.
There's always a lighthouse. Remember that.
I was debating between two for my third one, but for now, I will pick the one that's releasing sooner than the other option I had. So that would be Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
I feel like I have so many to choose from still. Okay. Let's see. We're going to go with an earlier game.
Yeah, smart.
Let's go with Split Fiction.
That was the other one I was considering. Nice job. By the makers of It Takes Two.
Oh yeah, that's what that is. I was like, what is that?
So I would say it's got a pretty good chance of it scoring well.
Yeah. Yeah, the industry loves Joseph Fares, so it'll.
That guy is interesting.
He's
Yeah.
something. Remember when he said he hated, like he said, "Fuck the Oscars," and then he won all these awards, and now he shows up at every one.
Right?
Oh, that guy.
Look at that. We've kicked it off officially with more choices to go with more announcements, but I think these are all very solid initial picks, guys.
Yeah.
I think so too.
I
May the best person win.
I should probably watch the Game Awards to figure out what's coming out.
Although a lot of them didn't have dates, so
it's because they're all waiting for Grand Theft Auto to get out of the way. I do want to say Naughty Dog's new IP looks dope.
Yes.
Galactic.
Do you think that all the branding on there is like intentional, or is that them to pay for the game?
So I have a theory, and I was going to bring it up on this episode if we had time, and it looks like we have a little bit of time. My theory is that since budgets are getting so bloated, they are looking to companies to sponsor games and do ad placement in games to help supplement the budget of these games.
I hate that, but I agree. I hate that, but I agree.
I do too, but that seems to be kind of, and granted,
I don't want advertising in my games.
In the words of Garth, it seems like everyone in the industry is just selling out, and it's just really sad as I wear all my teams.
Yeah. And again, that's just a theory, right? But like, when the next God of War game comes out and Kratos is wearing some Jordan 12s, okay, like there's going to be some, it's going to be some issues here. So
yeah,
that's my theory though, and I don't know what you guys think of that theory. That was the first thing I thought of when I saw that the Porsche logo on the back of that spaceship was like,
oh yeah, it stuck out like a sore thumb, and I'm gonna be honest, personally, it turned me off. I'm still looking forward to the game. I'm sure the game itself is good, but seeing the Porsche on there turned me off. I was like, what the fuck is this? Anyway,
yeah, I agree with you.
I wasn't turned off by the main character where the loud minority on the internet freaked out again about what's the audience for this game? Why isn't it like a really sexy, feminine looking female or whatever bullshit they were spewing as usual?
I was really upset with the main character, not because of the way she looked, but because when she was shaving her head, she had the shaver upside down.
I noticed that.
I'm not really upset about that.
Do your research, Naughty Dog. Is that the same actor as the one in Last of Us Part 2?
Wait. Wait. No. I've seen her in something else, but that's not the same one.
All right. Well, I don't want to hold up airtime for that. Just she looked familiar from somewhere. I just don't know where, and my brain is broken, so I'm not guessing and thinking straight. Well, either way, it looks cool. Hate the advertising.
It's Tati Gabrielle.
I know exactly who that is.
Yep. As well, you should.
Yep. I think that game looks cool though.
Tati Gabrielle was in the Uncharted movie.
Okay.
That's right. She was the crazy chick.
Yeah. Yep. That movie was good. That movie was better than it had any right to be, by the way.
Yeah. And she also had like a big recurring role on the Netflix series You.
I stopped watching that when I figured out it was a serial killer show. My wife loved it, and I was like, I'm not watching this with you. Goodbye.
He justifies what he does, just like Dexter. He's protecting people.
Yeah, sure. All right, so we can kind of get in a little bit to what we've been playing. We'll go for another 10 or 15 minutes because not to ruin anybody's parade here, but we're still recording the Bossy stuff, and I have 4 of them after this, and
Oh, but this is great. I feel like this was well paced. We're not like looking at the clock being like, holy crap. So
yeah,
this is cool.
Yeah,
I like it.
So I guess I'll start because I haven't been here in a while. I guess a week or 2. I don't know. Time goes by. I have been playing a lot of games with my son in particular. We've been playing Shredder's Revenge. We've been playing that new Power Rangers game by Digital Eclipse, which is really good.
Nice.
It's significantly harder than a Ninja Turtles game, though. I will say that. But it's
Are
been
there
it's been really
difficulty
fun.
options?
Like
Can
I
can
mean,
you?
I'm sure there are, but we just pressed start and started going. So it doesn't allow you to restart. Like when you lose all your lives in Ninja Turtles, right? You can just press start and come back, right? At some point or another. But this doesn't do that in Power Rangers. So I've been playing that. Indiana Jones, I played. I think it's a really beautiful looking game. I played through the opening of the game, which I don't know. Is it out there? The opening's out there, right? I guess just the first kind of level is just the opening of Raiders of the Lost Ark. So it's really it's really uncanny to hear Troy Baker as Indiana Jones, which I knew, like, we knew he was good in the trailers and stuff, but like hearing him have conversations with the Alfred Molina stand-in character in the beginning, like, because the stand-in character doesn't sound like Alfred Molina at all, right? And then you have Troy Baker, who sounds almost identical to Harrison Ford, and it's like, I don't know what I'm watching here. This is insane. And then the person, the whoever's playing Marcus Brody sounds just like him too. And I'm just like, like,
that's talent.
yeah, I love Indiana Jones. I'm
Did,
so
did you
glad.
finish the Did you finish the college scene just before
No.
leaving to your next? Okay, just because the line Indy says that one's just, it's awesome.
Yeah.
A little banter between Brody and Indy.
Oh, you're talking about, like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I did. That's
Indy,
where I
you can't
stopped
just
playing.
keep running away from your problems.
Yeah.
Watch me.
Yeah. So that's been really, really fun to experience, because indie doesn't really get a lot of love in pop culture these days, and experiencing that as a huge indie fan is awesome. So and then the last thing I have been playing is Roller Coaster Tycoon Classic on the Nintendo Switch.
Yeehaw.
Yeah, I really hope they add touch controls soon. The controls are kind of obtuse, but I'm plowing through it anyway, because I love Roller Coaster Tycoon so much that I will do anything to play it, except play on my phone, because it sucks there. Thank you, Atari, for putting the correct version of Roller Coaster Tycoon on the Switch. Finally. Third time's a charm. LeRon, you said you played some Monster Hunter?
Yeah, not a whole lot of Monster Hunter. My main thing though is well, he dropped yesterday. Clive Rossfield is in Tekken 8 now, and
Ooh.
I'm labbing him right now because I actually want to actually be competitive with him. He's going to be the character I take a break from Victor with for now. But I've been messing around with move lists, and it's pretty nice. And like I said, like I was gushing over the fact that I'm getting to hear Ben Starr a lot, and stuff like that. I also watched some of the dev diary that the Tekken developers had with the Final Fantasy 16 developers, and man, there was a lot of love and detail put into this from both sides of the team and stuff like that. This is a project that was going on actually before Tekken 8 was released, and in the middle of Final Fantasy 16's cycle and stuff like that. Square really wanted to collaborate and do something, and so they came to Bandai Namco and talked to Katsuhiro Harada, who's the director for Tekken, and they actually made it work, so like that. And I don't know, like I am playing around with the character, so like I feel like he's a pretty balanced character. You know, and that's not always easy to say, considering that most new characters, especially guest fighters from other game series that are not like typically built for fighting games, they're usually OP as fuck. But Clive feels decently balanced. Now I'm not going to put myself out there to where I'm going to eat my words later. Like if you if he winds up being deemed like broken or something, I'm pretty sure like Bandai Namco team, Tekken team are going to do something to make him a little more even with the rest of with the character roster and stuff like that. But yeah, like he's nice. It's cool like seeing some of his Final Fantasy stuff, like like existing in the world of Tekken,
Mm-hmm.
and also like seeing Ifrit and Phoenix fighting in the background. That is insane.
Yeah. At first, when I saw that trailer, because like somebody posted it and I didn't realize it was a Tekken trailer at first, and I was like, "Oh, is this the Xbox announcement finally? Is it finally coming to Xbox?" And
That's what I thought originally. That's what I thought originally too when it showed up at the Game Awards. I was like, oh, 16's coming to Xbox. Go ahead, And I was like, oh wait, no, this is Clive and Tekken, and it was something nobody anticipated because we knew Tekken was getting a guest character. We just didn't know that it was going to be a guest character from Final Fantasy game, and of course, people were bitching and pissed off because like Noctis was in Final Fantasy 7. I'm sorry, Tekken 7. Noctis was in Tekken 7, and I actually hated Noctis in Tekken 7. He was like the worst fight for me. I could not fight that guy. But so I guess like I'm embracing Clive because like I'm going to like use a guest character from Final Fantasy and actually annoy everybody else if he winds up being an annoying character.
I love the meme how people are like, who were clamoring for Tifa. It's like, why are you guys complaining about this? You got Tifa. They show the Ben Star wearing the Tifa outfit.
that's funny.
So it's something like that. But speaking of that, do you play with him with the shirt off?
Okay, so his presets, taking his shirt off is customization. Like, so I haven't started customizing him yet. But I do want to customize him like to wear like jeans and like a t-shirt and something like that. Like make him not look Final Fantasy, even though like it's kind of weird because characters that have like weapons as part of their actual as part of their actual like repertoire, like you can't like hide the weapons, so it looks like some dude walking down the street in jeans and a t-shirt carrying a giant ass fucking brave sword, like it that kills the illusion for me already. But something that's cool about like customizing Clive, you can actually change his facial hair, but they will not let you change the hair on his head. Like you cannot give him a different hairstyle. So he's got that, and I love that. I love that shaggy hairstyle of his. Like it's actually cool. So, but like one of his outfits is basically his main outfit, except it's color coded to like to being white and red. And I was like, oh, this looks fucking slick. Like I'm probably using that more now. Think about customizing him. But yeah, like, and it's funny too because one of the characters in the game, Reina, when you fight her, like there's a special intro for her, and she's like, oh, that's a really good cosplay, and he's like, what's a cosplay? and then if he wins the fight, then he's like, I'm going to have to look into this cosplay thing. It's so funny. Oh man. All right. Yep. So yeah, that and Monster Hunter. The only thing I'm doing in Monster Hunter right now is I told Andre and Matt last night, I'm going to have to go ahead and fast track the end game because I'm playing some of these monsters that I know I can smack down, and I'm just not up to the challenge. That's because my weapon isn't maxed out yet. My armor is good, but the weapon isn't up to snuff. So I can't beat some of these monsters in those under 20-minute times, and the reason why I know it's under 20 minutes is because like we have these things in Monster Hunter World and Iceborne called investigations, where it sets certain monsters have time limits for how long you can fight them. You have to beat this monster in 20 minutes. I can't beat the monster in 20 minutes. So yeah, like it's not me, it's my weapon. I just can't perform.
It happens as you get older.
Yeah, that's true.
Did you try applying the blue pill to the weapon?
You mean the dash juice or the energy drink? Which one?
I hear it enhances performance for 4 hours, but you should see someone.
Well, my motto is if I have a situation for longer than 4 hours, I'm not the person that's going to need a doctor.
Ooh,
Wow.
nice. Yeah, Corey's speechless.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
That
Sorry,
doesn't happen that often.
I was confirming some things. Sorry.
I bet you were.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's like looking up blue pills. Just kidding.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of blue pills, Stephanie, what are you playing?
I'll be quick. I've only been playing Dragon Quest 3 2D HD remake, but I'm actually making some significant progress. So it's a lot of fun just exploring.
Is it good?
Oh, it's great. I love it. I love the music. I love traversing. I found the way to speed up the battle parts, thanks to Pat giving me that tip. Because it's fun, but it's just when you randomly run into enemies like
Normal's too damn slow.
yeah. But like I can see how it's kind of bare bones like story wise, but the exploration is fun, and I'm enjoying my party. I have the hero, I have a priest, I have a sorcerer wizard person, and then the animal wrangler or monster wrangler, I should say. Pat, that's your character, the monster wrangler. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so great. And then I just have a couple of show and tell. Not the Master Sword, though, that's too big. That's what she said. But these are all the games that I've got finally. So a couple from Limited Run has arrived. Actually, way forward related. Clock Tower Rewind. That's the glare. Animal Well Physical. Black Myth Wukong, because it was on sale on a website. Yars Rising, that I couldn't find yesterday when we were talking Way Forward. I also got some CDs, Zelda and Chill, a piano CD for Silent Hill music, and then this one I really love. I think it's just called Hero of Time, and it's basically a orchestral version of the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, because there's been like lo-fi music of Ocarina of Time, but I couldn't find good orchestral um tunes to it. It's really a great listen. So just thought I'd share some of that.
Nice. We might be seeing Way Forward again for Clock Tower sooner than you think.
Oh, I better start playing it.
Pat,
Yo,
that leaves us up to you, the Metacritic Draft winner of 2024. Plays games.
It's going to be 2025.
Eh.
Well, I'm kicking off my New Year's resolution a little early, just because I was looking at all the RPGs that I have. You weren't around for last week, Corey. I want to at least get 10 RPGs done since I only did 7 this year. But I want to also focus on some of my backlog RPGs. And so I have a series called Yuan or Zhan Yuan Sword. I think it's how it's pronounced. I need Steph to translate it better for me. Xuanyuan.
Xuan Yuan. Yeah.
Xuan Yuan.
Xuan
Yeah.
Yuan.
Xuan.
X is like SH for some reason.
Xuan. Okay, yeah. Xuan Yuan. Yeah. It's a series that it's kind of like a Final Fantasy in China, where it takes place in China. And I got 7 a couple years ago, and I played it a little bit, but it came out, I think, during the fall time, which is a horrible time to be a niche title to come out. So I decided to restart replaying that again because I also picked up the I think it's called the Gates of Firmament, or yeah, Firmament, which just came out on the PlayStation 5 this week. And when I was over at PAX West, I picked up the Mist Beyond the Mountain, which was a Switch game. So now I have 3 of these games that I haven't even touched the series on. So I wanted to start working on one of them. So I started with 7 here, and I've also started Mist Beyond the Mountain. So 7 is an action RPG. It's a very straightforward. The paths don't really diverge much, like on your world map, and it's about a brother who is trying to save his sister, who gets struck kind of fatally. And so he separates her body from her soul and has to figure out how to repair her body. And so he goes on this like journey through China to figure out how to do that. It's a very interesting concept because the game, you can tell there's something bigger going on outside, but it almost doesn't revolve him. He's not quite the hero of the game. There is someone else who is the hero wielding the legendary sword out there in the world. You just want to go and figure out a way to save your sister, which just happens to also later on uh, you needing to find this hero as well. So it's an interesting concept, but it's a very beautiful game. It's a lot of, I would say, Chinese countryside, but not like high fantasy. It's more like mountainy, with forests scattered around, and old fashioned villages, sleepy little villages. There's one big city that was pretty cool to walk around, but so far. But it's a very simple game, um, action, and yeah, it's been rather enjoyable, which is more than I can say for the Switch one, the Beyond the Mist, or Mount Beyond the Mount Mist, Mount, whatever, the one that came out on the Switch. It's an older version that was kind of remade and published by Serenity Forge. I like the art style. It's a turn-based combat system that looks like it's on a water scroll. Um, in terms of its art. However, the translation is absolutely horrible in this game. Like, I don't even understand what the hell is going on with some of these conversations because it almost makes no sense. Like, they're talking about one thing, and all of a sudden, it's just like they just switch over to some other topic, or they could be like mad, and then all of a sudden, they just like say something else that's just like, what? Okay, are you talking to this person or that person? Like, I don't know. It's bad. The translation. It's for those who want purest translation. I feel that this might have been a purest translation, and it's not good. But if it wasn't for the translation, though, like it plays like an old style Tales game, um, with the 2D sprite on an overworld map, and but the combat is very much a Final Fantasy action or active time battle system, where you have your bar that fills up, and then once it fills up, you can use your turn while you're fighting bad guys. So I plan on still putzing around with that one. I don't know how far I'll get with that version, but I do plan on seeing this game number 7 here done. Like, I will be focusing on that one.
Nice.
There's other stuff, but those were the two that I've been focusing on this week.
Nice.
Neat.
Awesome. Well, everyone, we did it.
We did
First episode of the year in the bag. I want to thank everybody out there for watching and or listening. If you have any questions, you can join our Discord. If you have any requests, topics, you can also leave them there. You can support us over on Patreon, patreon.com/Boss Rush Network. Subscribe on YouTube, podcast services. Leave us a rating and a nice review. Pat, Stephanie, LeRon, it's good to see you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thank you for your time as always.
Happy New Year.
Everybody out there, thank you so much for watching and or listening. And until next time, we love you. Goodbye.
Bye.
If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/Boss Rush Network. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Deering, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Keel, and Todd Oxtra. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network.